Hello, David Zaretsky for the Bond Experience. Welcome back. As I'm looking out the window right now, all I see is a barren wasteland filled with ice, snow, and cold. Now, an escape from this is pretty natural. A lot of us like to go on winter getaways, and the winter getaway isn't to another winter place, it's to someplace warm, and that's what this is about. But it's also how James Bond connects to our little luxurious moments of these types of escapes. And here's the thing, it's not just about James Bond. After all, the creator of James Bond, Ian Fleming, did the same thing. He would go to GoldenEye, write his books, and get away from the cold and the rat race of London. So why would we be any different? For many years, Danielle and I have been getting away from the Pennsylvania cold, which can be extreme from time to time, and gone to a warm, amazing type of escape, even just for a few days, and it breaks up the winter so beautifully. And we are doing that. We're actually heading down to Mexico, flying into Cancun, and going to Playa del Carmen, a beautiful place. It's kind of the Riviera Maya of Mexico. Beautiful people, beautiful food, beautiful environment. And we are going to be staying at a relatively new resort called, I was actually going to say Palmyra. It sounds like Palmyra, but it's not. It's Palmaya, the House of Aya. And this place is designed specifically for health and wellness. So here's the first thing I want to talk to you about creating a James Bond getaway, because you may want to create your own. The first thing is not what you're going to pack. I know, David, I thought this was a style video. It's not what you're going to pack. It's actually the why. Meaning, why are you going? Is it just for the warmth? Okay, well, there's a lot of places you can go to. Or is it about the experience? Do you want to get to a mountain getaway, or do you want the beach? And in this particular case, we wanted beach, but we wanted something more than just sitting down on a lounge and drinking pina coladas. And you may have noticed that pretty recently I had a video that many of you liked about kind of rebooting myself as I became 55 years old. Can I be like Bond at 55? Is that even possible? Many of our Bonds found the way to do that. And I talked about the whole idea of health and wellness. So when we were looking for a warm weather getaway, we said we need a place that can service that. We can relax all that we want, but we can also do a lot of activities and wellness. And this place is all about that. They have all natural hot springs and oasis, but they also have yoga and hot tents and sound bowls. And you ready for this? You ready for this? We'll see how this goes. It's an entirely plant-based food place. Yeah, entirely plant-based. Now you can get food, I was gonna say you can get food. You can get meat. You can get meat by request, but I'm going to actually try the whole plant-based thing for the 5 or 6 days that we're going. The why behind this is because I want to continue on this Bond fitness journey, this Bond fitness challenge, in having this luxurious moment of escape, just like Bond did in, I don't know, Thunderball and even Casino Royale with Vesper. I still want that, but I also want to have the activity that helps me to get into the pinnacle, if you will, right? The Operation Pinnacle, the best version of myself. So we're going to take you on this. You're going to see a new place. It's not a Bond location, although Bond has filmed in Mexico. No, this is kind of like Bond meets White Lotus. Yeah, not quite like that, but yeah, we'll see. It's kind of like that White Lotus luxurious resort meets some James Bond moments. We're going to pack, hold on, wait for it. We're going to bring, of course, some of our favorite brands, and you'll get to see them in action amongst this. And we're going to talk more about this Bond getaway aspect once we land in Mexico, but I got to catch a plane. Okay, I'm at the airport right now. I'm here in the British Airways lounge, enjoying a little bit of tipple before the flight. Had some good champs and just relaxing before the flight, trying to get into that mode. And again, this is that whole aspect of a little bit of taste of luxury. James Bond. By the way, I'm flying in a toweling Olabar brown shirt. It is from the new 60th anniversary collection, and it's an appropriate part of the discussion because I want to take a moment just to talk about what I've packed, because I didn't have to pack much. In fact, everything that I packed fits in my No Time to Die Globetrotter suitcase. So it's extremely efficient what I've done. I've packed my Quantum of Solace watch. I've also packed my Omega Moon swatch to have something lightweight. The footwear that I'm wearing right now is the Olabar Brown. This is a toweling espadrille. How cool is that? I brought a pair of flip-flops, and then the rest of my clothing is pretty much all Olabar Brown. Olabar Brown not only fits my lifestyle, it's going to fit the place that we're going to. Palmyra, I did it again. Palmyra is all about minimalism, really just getting back to yourself, a reboot, if you will. Olabar Brown fits my body, fits my lifestyle, fits the place that we're going to, so there is going to be a concentration. In fact, we may have an opportunity to review a few brand new pieces from Olabar Brown, but from a packing standpoint, I've got 3 pairs of Olabar Brown shorts, 2 or 3 shirts, not including this one, so 4. I've got the pair of pants that I'm wearing right now, and 2 pairs of shoes. That's essentially it, and some toiletries. So talk about packing on the fly. And this is very much like Bond. Remember Bond from Spectre? He had his Globetrotter and not much more than that. Well, this is the same aspect. I used to, this is my confession number, 8,555. I used to pack too many things, giant pieces of luggage checked in. I hate checking in. This is going to be my carry-on. I love carrying on because you don't have to sit at the luggage rack on the way out. But that's Bond. Bond packs just a few things that he can mix and match with others. So the color combinations you're going to see on this winter Bond getaway that I've done, it's very logical. It's a lot of whites and blues and things that I can combine together to make many outfits. But even if Danielle and I dress up for an evening, I can pair some things and elevate it. It's very relaxed. A lot of people are going to be wearing t-shirts. I do have a t-shirt or two for working out, doing some yoga, vinyasa, om. We'll see what happens. But more in relation to just making sure that everything is wafer thin, because I just came from, I don't know what, real feel of 17 degrees Fahrenheit. Talk about layers. I'm getting rid of the layers, and that's all part of the Bond experience. All right, well, listen, enough of that. I'll see you in Mexico. That's our view today on our first morning. Breakfast looks amazing. I went entirely plant-based. First of all, I've got the chia bowl with chia seeds and all types of good things in there, cocoa nibs, etc. I've got the enchiladas with mushroom and avocado in a red sauce. And this is their signature pancakes with an almond honey compote. And you got some sort of banana strawberry thing back there. So we're gonna feast. And then just to be healthy, like extra healthy of course, I've got a kind of a green juice, which is spinach. It is celery and a little bit of lime. And of course, the Mexican coffee. Gotta have it, yum. Okay, so this is officially the first day at Pamaya, House of Aya. I'm a little wet still because I just went into the ocean. Strangely enough, I think I was the only one on the beach that went into the ocean. The ocean water feels great. It's probably, I don't know, 80 degrees. The pool's a little cold. The pools are gorgeous here. We have to talk about the why. So here I am in Mexico. It's been an amazing evening, and we're only like halfway through the first day. It's not even 11 o'clock in the morning. First of all, I want to show you something really cool. So they don't have keys here. Look at what they have. They have these bracelets that open up your room. It's a little tile. It looks like it's made out of wood, but it's a little electronic tile. Really kind of cool bracelet. It's green and looks very natural. And that's what you have instead of keys, which is very cool, very bohemian, and very much to the aesthetics of this place, which is all about this natural relaxation. The why behind us coming here is pretty apparent as you look around a little bit. It's very natural. Look at this. It's like a giant snail that you can actually walk into on the beach. It's made out of like a wood. You can actually come in here and look at this. How cool is this? Now we've got a little private little moment back here. You can actually keep going. It's like right out of Dr. Dolittle. But the why behind us coming here is all around the fact that we wanted to reboot this whole thing of, be Bond at 55. I wanted to try plant-based food. I wanted to try new types of exercises. I wanted to try sort of a new aspect to many of the things that we like to do, which is physicality. This is a health and wellness place. I mean, you could relax. We're having drinks right now. You don't see them, but we're having drinks right now. But we're gonna take you around on a full tour of this place, like I've done with some of the other locations, so you can see the why behind this particular type of James Bond location. Come on with us. Okay, it's 6 a.m. in the morning, and I came here yesterday. This is the gym. I'll kind of do a strafing round. So to get the place to yourself, like I like it on vacation, you've got to get up pretty early in the morning, like 6 a.m. So I've got the whole gym to myself. They've got everything. They've got ellipticals, machines, they've got nice weights. But one of the coolest things, and you can't really see it right now because it's still dark, the moon is waning, is it opens up to the entire jungle. I know. It like opens up to the entire jungle, which is just totally badass. So when you're working out, you feel like you are outside to the elements. And that's a key part of this place. But even when I'm on vacation, I got to keep up with the Bond at 55. Is that a new, I'm not doing a new hashtag. I'm hashtag crazy. I'm just gonna work out. So just FYI, this workout is much harder to do when your blood type is more tequila than anything else. Yeah. Okay, it's our fourth day here, and I've become a little bit more adventurous with this whole plant-based thing. At first I was kind of going back and forth a little bit, but this morning's breakfast was entirely plant-based and I feel good. There was something that I had that was supposed to be a quasi sausage. The thing that I don't know with this plant-based aspect is what's in it, and why are vegans trying to replace meat with things that taste like meat but aren't meat? Like, why wouldn't you replace things like meat with things that taste like plants? I don't know. It's one of these age-old things, but maybe they want something that tastes like a ribeye steak, but not a ribeye steak. Maybe we'll explore it more and find out. But you can't beat the view. Okay, so I've been doing this video of a James Bond getaway, and the great equalizer, Danielle, right here. Pop. You know, she's hearing me do all these things about getting centered and finding yourself in wellness and health, and she goes, "That's not James Bond." What was your comment?
Yeah, so you were saying how like Bundy places, and I'm like, no, it's not, because you think about it, right? So every time Bond has to go into a rehab situation, he's injured himself, whatever.
Yeah.
Does he actually do the PT to get cleared? No.
Physical therapy.
People know what PT is.
You would think.
Right, so, you know, or to go through the exercises and the wellness to get better, right?
Yeah.
No, he doesn't do any of that. So
he circumvents it.
right, he will
like Thunderball.
He will bed the person who's supposed to clear him.
Yeah.
Why they keep making women do it?
So Thunderball, he does that. Thunderball, he does that. The world is not enough. He does that when he skirts the issue.
Exactly.
And even Inspector, he says, you know, when she asks, "Do you work out?" He goes, "When I have to." So he tries to get around what this vacation is all about.
Yeah, he's like, no, you know, he doesn't.
So you cried bullshit.
I do.
So I'm trying to do this whole thing about like Bond being in shape and things like that, and she goes, "But that's not really James Bond from the movies."
No, he drinks.
Yeah.
Right? He clearly is not scared of STDs.
No. Kind of well.
You know, he doesn't really eat much, but you know, I don't know. Like he's not concerned about his health or well-being.
Right.
Clearly, he puts himself in very dangerous situations.
Right.
And he doesn't do the minimum to rehab.
So you can see Bond at a place like this trying to like do health and wellness.
No.
Wow.
No.
See, this is why you need to have a significant other in your life to really, every now and then, cry bullshit and say your video isn't really aligned to Bond. But is this kind of like a Bond getaway? No, it's more Instagrammers, right?
Oh my God.
Tell them about this. Tell them about the Instagrammers.
Oh yeah. So it's like you got your typical girls with the cute hats and the cute outfits, and you know, they're just posing themselves and taking pictures of their food
And you suspected there were butt implants on some of them.
There's a lot of stuff happening here.
Yeah. So it may not be the most authentic.
No.
Look, the place is great.
The place is beautiful. The grounds are beautiful.
Yeah.
The staff is super friendly, really nice. The food is amazing. Drinks are amazing. Bartenders are great.
Yeah.
The room is beautiful. Very comfortable.
Yeah.
Beautiful scenery. The beach is gorgeous. The people, meh. Sorry.
You need somebody really honest in your life.
I'm a little curmudgeon-y.
just to align you to the authenticity. Thank you.
Oh, sorry.
She's amazing. All right. Thanks. Okay, this seemed like an appropriate place to have this discussion, but here I am on my very last full day. Tomorrow we travel back, still here at Pamaya, House of Aya. I'm in one of their ritual tents. This is where, usually in the morning or the afternoon, they have a whole bevy of people laid out on comfortable pillows, and they're doing breathing, and I did a couple of them. I did. It was really interesting. But let's go back to the basics, because this was supposed to be a getaway, an escape, a warm weather escape, and boy, do we have that. I mean, it was real feel of 87 degrees sometimes. Yeah, that's why you're seeing this relatively healthy glow that you don't normally see during the winter. Here I am wearing a toweling Olabar brown, which was a lot of the expectation of making this into a Bond getaway versus the reality. What do I mean by that? Well, the reality is that this is a very naturally focused, oriented place, plant-based, and therefore it attracted vegans, people interested in that type of lifestyle. And I would say that the expectation that Danielle and I had, where this was going to be kind of like a Thunderball Spectre type getaway, it wasn't quite that. And we've got to talk about, first and foremost, the people, because we always start with the people. The staff are amazing. They're polite, They take their time with you. They don't rush things through. We love the staff. Everybody on the staff, whether it was the beach staff or the restaurant staff or the people just helping us with vinyasa, getting to understand plant-based, they were all great. The environment is beautiful. I mean, take a look at this environment. Let's just creep around a little bit and see the place. It's unbelievable. Whether it's nighttime or daytime, it absolutely looks stunning. I mean, this place is just out of this world. The aesthetics too. And listen, we've got to mention the food. I can't blow by the food. In fact, you know something? Let's show you a quick food montage just so you get the drift. Okay, I'm trying to give you a blow by blow. First of all, this was from the taco truck. Yes, there was a taco truck on there. There's different type of, this is all plant-based, by the way. This is one of the nicer restaurants Danielle and I went out to after that little confessional you saw. Really amazing drinks. That was a gin and tonic, but yep, we wanted a little something, so we got a little bit of dine-in, 10:30 at night. And these are just some of the things we got. Of course, the breakfasts were unbelievable. This is a breakfast. You could have real scrambled egg, fake scrambled eggs, avocado toast, different types of juices. That was a brioche bread that was entirely stuffed. Coffee was amazing. It was one of my dinners. It was fresh fish. And again, you could order fish, chicken, things like that. Steak, not so much. This was one of the best poke bowls I've ever had in my life, with a ceviche right on the water, little Olive Brown action, and of course, lox and bagel. Bagel was gluten-free, and the lox is not lox. It's like a mango with soy sauce. Really interesting. That was some plant-based skillet. Had to hit the bathroom right after that. And this was the usual. Of course, this was great because this was a bakery. You could go in there any time of the day. Beautiful stuff. But one of the best aspects about this bakery for Danielle is they had gluten-free, and she is celiac. So to have a gluten-free donut was a major treat. Big thumbs up for that. This is us enjoying some Mexican hot chocolate, some gluten-free treats. That is not a gluten-free treat, and that's not part of the Pinnacle 55. No, David, but enjoy the view anyway. Of course, that taco truck was something that we just kept going back to because you had to. Absolutely delicious food. And the corn, the street corn with a nice beer and a plantain. And by the way, that's proof. That's the truck right next to your hotel. This was my favorite place. This was our favorite place. This was a sushi place. And I know you're sushi in Mexico, David, but the pad thai noodles and some of those things were amazing. And then, yep, back to the poke bowl. This is exactly what you wanted to see, a James Bond food vacation, beautiful fish, letting the acid. And again, this just shows you the gourmet aspect. Even the bao buns were gourmet. The whole vitalization aside, this was very James Bond with tequila tasting abroad. And my last day was all about the breakfast because it was going to be our last good meal before we had some sort of weird, horrible hot pocket on the plane. Now, I've got to give you some authentic, honest moments here. When it comes to plant-based, I'm just going to tell it like it is. I was on the toilet quite a bit. For those of you not born in Brooklyn, toilet is toilet, is lavatory, is bathroom. Holy macaroni. That stuff was shooting. I don't want to get into details, but let's just say that the plant-based kind of overtook my body as opposed to really kind of helping it. And that's okay. I wasn't plant-based the whole time. I had fish, I had meat. These need some meat is what I'm saying. So I did have that. But I'll tell you what, there's a couple things I got to point out here from a ratio standpoint. Instagrammers. Let's talk about Instagrammers. And I get what you're saying. You're about to say, you're like, David, you're an Instagrammer. What are you doing? You're about to like dig into them. But this place was filled with women who just were here for their Instagram pictures. In fact, because although the staff is very nice, the management is very nice, the place is very nice, the people that come here, not so much, folks. First of all, they were rude. Like, none of them said hello. There was no connection. They all just tried to grab their own spot on the beach, knocking people out of the way. I mean, it just No, no, it was pretty bad. And you know something? There was one point where Danielle and I had to replicate the Instagrammers, so we did one, but I'm not going to show it to you. I refuse to show you that. Yeah, we're going to show you that.
All right, come on. You got to make it look sexy. You got to sell this. No, come on. Arch your back more. Arch it. Arch it. Stick your butt out. No, I told you you had to wear the more sexy cut-out bathing suit. This is not going to work. Come on, Instagram needs this. You got to get more followers. No, get back in the water. Get back in the water. We are not done.
This anymore.
We are not done. Pout your lips more. No, how sexy. How sexy. Okay, come on. You got to get the shot. Oh, this is impossible. I don't know what I'm working with here. Insta bitches. This isn't gonna work. I'm finished.
Okay, well, never going to live that down. There was something that Danielle said. In fact, there's so many Instagram women here. So many. Or just women with other women who are out on excursions because maybe they're plant-based and the health and wellness. I don't know what attracts them. It could be the environment. But Danielle had a very interesting comment. She's looking around and I'm seeing these Instagrammers, you know, arching their back and putting out their butt, and it was terrible for me. Just absolutely terrible. But Danielle, you know, looks at me and she goes, you know, the chicks to dicks ratio here is really depressing. I've never heard that term before. So there wasn't a lot of eye candy for her, is what she was basically saying. Sorry, Danielle. Maybe the next trip. I'll take you someplace where Alaska has a lot of men, not too many women. That'll be our next trip. And, you know, there were really Bond moments. So listen, even amongst the fact that you saw what Danielle said, Ian Fleming and James Bond would never come here. Or if they did come here, they would circumnavigate all the health and wellness and the plant-based food. And they wind up, you know, like sneaking in like a giant T-bone steak or something like that. We still have to mention that there are Bond moments, like right now I'm wearing the toweling 60th anniversary polo from Oliver Brown. I wore a ton of Oliver Brown. It just fit the environment. This is White Lotus come to life. Just, you know, with the people, with the environment, with the bonkers, you know, the staff trying to keep it all together. This is White Lotus. So I had to wear some interesting type of clothing. Let me show you, just quick fashion show montage, some of the items that I did wear, usually to dinner. Okay, so for many of you, you've come just to this video for the style portion, and I want to kind of graph back a little bit because we've escaped back home to talk about my style choices that were co-curated by Oliver Brown. This is part of their new line. Now, I don't need to tell you, because I've told you many times, Oliver Brown just fits my lifestyle. It fits my body type. I'm a 41, 42 on my chest. I got a 31-inch waist. To me, it's the perfect combination of style and function. Even look at the way the biceps hit. You know, they're not too high, they're not up here, but they're not too low, like, you know, just some floppy shirt. No, this fits right. And this is a capri collar. Take a look. Capri collar aspect, which I thought would be perfect for this White Lotus meets James Bond type of vacation that we're on. And it is, because I didn't want just the traditional James Bond wear. I did bring the 60th anniversary toweling polo, as you saw, but I wanted to also get something different to kind of connect back to that White Lotus. So I'm wearing right now the Hibbert bandana, and you can take a look right here. This is a bandana style. When you know, the old-fashioned bandanas that, you know, you would rob a bank with. What a terrible pick of no. This is that bandana pattern. The color is a dark sea fire, sea mist. Size is medium. And what I liked about this is what it's made of is kind of interesting. It's made of viscose and linen. So the linen just gives you that unbelievably great feel. Take a look at the design on the sleeves itself. But this is Sea Trees Ocean Positive, Verified Climate Neutral. Now that's not just all talk. So viscose itself and modal, which we're going to get to in a second, are fabrics that are from natural things like fibers, like beech trees, cellulose, etc. And it actually takes less water, takes less energy, and it's good for the environment. I like the way it looks. I mean, I'm just going to be frank. I mean, that's very cool, and it makes me feel better. And look at the tagline: "Holiday Better." And we know that Olabar Brown helps us to do that. But look at the fit of this. This is not like cling to me. This is warm weather. It's 87 degrees in Mexico. All right. So I need something that's a little bit light, a little bit billowy, but fits nicely. These camp collars are perfect. They are still very Bond. They're still very Thunderball. Right around the corner of my collection is all the Thunderball stuff. It still has that feel and function. But take a look at this. Now I'm wearing this with the only chinos that I brought, Uniqlo chinos. Very lightweight. It's got a nice little drawstring. Didn't even have to bring a belt, but this goes with everything. And of course, I wanted to have navy blue. I love navy blue. Bond loves navy blue, so that connection just works. But the stripes here is also very Casino Royale. You know, when he's wearing kind of that running shirt with the Madagascar look, it's got all these little pieces to it. But I can't just wear blue. See? Told you, right? So this is the Sea Mist. Let me get a little bit closer. Take a look at the pattern. Again, fits great, fits in the chest. You still see a little peck action. I mean, it is a warm weather holiday. My apologies to everyone for the breakup. You see my Go mic and it just breaks up the whole beautiful pattern, but this is a pretty clean pattern. Again, it's a capri or camp collar look to it. Love the way the biceps fit. You've got that nice demarcation line around the biceps that, look, this clothing just shows everything off. You've been working hard, it's vacation. So this is a Hibbert cravat. So that cravat, you can see in there, this is the pattern cravat. So I love how they've taken all of these types of patterns and mixed it with something a little bit 1950s, a little traditional. Take a look at where it hits. I'm not gonna have to do any hemming on this or any tailoring. It fits perfectly right out of the box. And because it is that 80% viscose and 20% linen, it drapes beautifully. The hand of this, because you don't want it to collect sweat, it just keeps you dry. Now, I have to tell you, as I'm wearing this, my choice was to wear these Olabar Brown moments mostly in the late afternoon and evening, because at our resort, I wanted to get a little bit more dressed up for what we're doing. But wait till you see this next piece for probably what's going to be your favorite. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Is this like not your favorite? By the way, I didn't have the heart to even put my microphone against here because I got to show you the neck. I mean, look at the neckline here. Look at the sleeves. To me, this just says resort, vacation, Palm Springs, Miami. It just has that very luxurious, Saint-Tropez. I could go on, but look at the way everything is cut on here. Absolutely beautiful. This is the Horton, and the Horton has these, I'm going to get up close. Here we go. Look at the pattern on here. All right. I know I'm doing it very amateur showing this, but if I click on here, you're going to ruin that whole neckline, and that overlapping neckline is kind of everything. But look at the pattern. So you've got that pattern like you had on the last shirt, but this is silk and cotton. And oh my gosh, when I put this on, I got you to listen, even if I get a sunburn, because I don't tan, I burn, I tend to burn. Yeah, it's my background. This is just going to feel, and does feel, like heaven. It feels great on the skin. You can see it's got the nice demarcation here. It's got the nice banded waist. It's got the banded sleeves that just fit perfectly because of that wonderful blend of things. But this, to me, yeah, I'm sorry. This is what, like, always have these Sophie's Choice moments. This is my favorite. The way the collar fits, the way it fits who I am. This isn't a Bond moment. This is a David Zaritsky moment at a wonderful resort. This is one of my favorite nighttime looks. Now, hold on. Of course, I say I'm not going to do that, and then I do that because I want to talk to you for a second. The dinners, when we would go out to dinner at this resort, I will tell you, I saw all different types of couples. They were all great. So one of the things I just wanted to remark to you is if you are going to go to a resort like this with your beautiful significant other, your spouse, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, it doesn't matter. One thing I do want to implore you is just think about all the time and effort that that other special person in your life is putting into what they wear for the evening. There's something about an evening when you go to a warm weather getaway, bond or otherwise, where it's a little bit dressed up. I saw people coming in like ripped up shirts. I'm talking about the guys, cargo shorts, little bad shorts that they just came in from swimming, clearly. I would always wear a nice pair of slacks, very clean, a beautiful Olabar brown polo. I was always just slightly elevated, it seemed, from everybody else because my wife, Danielle, was dressing in beautiful sundresses and these flowing things, and she just looked amazing. And, she looked amazing during the day, of course, but at night there was just something transformational. Why wouldn't you put that same amount of effort that your significant other is putting into looking your best? It basically telegraphs the fact to this person that you are spending a little extra time because you want to look a little bit better for them. And by the way, for yourself. So please don't come in slovenly in the evening when you're going out to eat at some of these resorts. We didn't. We sort of got dressed up, and to me, that's the right process. Well, hold on. We've got one more special thing I wanted to show you. Okay, you didn't expect long sleeve shirts to be discussed in a Bond winter warm weather destination getaway, and yet here we are. Now, mind you, if you will, I'm used to gravitating to navy when it comes to Bond. This is not a navy, this is a truffle. I know, it's like a brownish gray. It's not charcoal and it's not black, even though back here it does have some blackish hues. But look at the way that this thing drapes. And the reason it drapes like this is because it's cashmere. It's ridiculously soft. Look at how that moves on the skin. So you can wear dark colors like this, even in a warm weather, 87 degrees out in Mexico type resort, beach escape. And what I like about this is, again, I'm going to be talking about the sun and the way it looks. When you get a little bit of color like I have, it actually makes these darker colors pop and vice versa. It's just a really nice contrast. Like I said, this is the Sebastian in cashmere. The color is truffle. What I also like about this is modal. Right, modal. So modal and cashmere. Modal is a natural fiber. It's, again, made from trees. And they actually take the cellulose from the tree and they weave it into this incredibly soft. I'm telling you right now, I don't wish you could feel me through the thing. That's not what I was going to say. Kind of was what I was going to say, but it's so soft and billowy. And if you could see the way this thing moves right here, this is how you want warm weather clothing to fit. You don't want it to be clingy because you're going to perspire. I don't care if you're a robot, you're going to perspire. This just keeps things so light. And I will tell you, my last thing was a pic of what I liked. This is the one I'm going to be wearing the most. Yeah, because it's so comfortable. The collar, it's long sleeve. You can roll it up if you want to. But from a comfort level, I'm telling you people, I don't even feel like I'm wearing anything. And that is another important thing with Bond Getaway Resort clothing. You don't want to feel like you are encumbered or the clothing is wearing you. You own the clothing. You should wear it. So you know something? I'm going to go back to the resort and wear that clothing, this clothing, and thanks to Olabar Brown. So let's head back to the resort. Fun, right? Total fun. I mean, that's Olabar Brown. Prints and things like that. I wanted to get into the kind of White Lotus mood, but Olabar Brown just fits my style. It fits me, so it was like perfect. It was just absolutely perfect. Well, listen, the sun is, you're going to see the lighting of how I'm lit. This is all just ambient lighting. The sun is coming down, so as it starts to set, I've got to sort of have a conclusion about this video. When I first started out, I thought, you know what, let me do a Bond video on how to do a Bond getaway, no matter where you're going. Could be the backyard, maybe not the backyard, but it could be Florida, it could be anywhere, it could be Arizona. In this particular case, I went to Palmar House Savaya in Mexico, in Cancun. And you know what, no matter where we are, because we're Bond fans, you can have a Bond getaway as long as you have certain aspects to it, right? A certain panache, a certain luxury, warmth, your ability to kind of transform your environment into a Bond transformation, maybe even throw yourself a mission or two. When you come down to it, Danielle, again, the great equalizer, said, well, yeah, Bond wouldn't go on this type of getaway, but this was about having a warm weather getaway. You got to wear your Bond clothing, you got to do different things, go out in different missions, like in the morning to work out. So yeah, okay, if you want to kind of tweak your head a little bit, your imagination, which is kind of the Bond moments is about all your imagination. That's why it's an invisible Bond. I thought it was a mosquito, like starting to eat me. It wasn't. It was just something flying around. Things will kill you here, is all I'm saying. But would I recommend this place as a Bond destination? No. I would tell you to go to Piz Gloria, the Bahamas, Jamaica, Goldeneye, my gosh. Sooner before I would say, do I need to go to Palmyra, House of Aya first? It's not a very James Bond place. It's a wonderful, wonderful warm weather getaway. And that's what I can recommend it for. If you want to have a plant-based life and have an incredibly clean colon. If you want to have an amazing staff and a great room and really bonkers type of natural environment around you, this is the place. The people, look, I'm just being frank here. We started naming people after a while. There was this one woman I walked by, I said, good morning, just trying to elicit some sort of connection, and she just looked at me like this. So I said, no. Like, I guess not, no. And she goes, no. Like she said, she scolded me, she goes, no. So we called her, for every time we saw her, we go, that's Dr. No. And there was another woman who was just a little bonkers, and again, just treating the staff terrible, and she had this really high-pitched voice, and we called her Bjork just because she looked and sounded like Bjork. So it was fun to make up these code names. This is what my wife and I do when we're on vacation. We drink a lot of tequila, a lot of rum drinks, and we make up names for people, Bond code names, and then we call them that for the rest of the trip. We just do. It's a lot of fun. Anyway, go back tomorrow, so I'm going to leave you to it. This has been great to kind of entertain this a little bit, but when you come right down to it, Danielle said it best. Not a Bond getaway, but a good attempt nonetheless, and a couple little aspects of it still have that Bond flavor. So you know what? I'm still going to count it. She ain't around. This has been David Zrisky for the Bond Experience. We'll see you real soon. Take care. The cutest thing in the resort, by far. No matter how many Instagram followers the others have, this is the cutest. Just saying. Thanks for watching this episode. If you want to be up on the latest from the Bond Experience, just click on this subscribe and subscribe to our channel. You're going to get all the latest and greatest information, plus some exclusive content. And by the way, speaking of content, here's something especially for you, just because we know you. Talk to you soon.